in this time of COVID. We know that in India and a few other places, you are being ravaged right now with the disease and so forth, and trying to figure out the best ways to handle this. We also understand that there are many leaders who have gone out of their way to rescue and to help people, and they themselves have gotten COVID and so forth, and are dying in many cases. So we want to give you some basic tips, some base, and just discuss how to handle ourselves in this time of struggle. As you know, a few months ago, about 12 months ago, America was experiencing some devastating numbers of people dying in some of the major cities like New York, and California and other places where the numbers were just rising astronomically. And we're seeing that now at this time that India has been being affected in such a tremendous way. And we just want to share some thoughts, especially if you are on the front lines and you're helping people. You have to protect yourself first in order to help them. We don't want to, we don't want you to go out there and help people and then you yourself die, and many are left stranded. So we want to share some basic things
Yeah.
that are very, very important to help and save your life so that you can be active in saving other people's lives. And Gene, you want to share
Yeah,
some thoughts?
there's so many things that I'm on Mayo Clinic study for 17 years now, and I still get some of their reports, but they're also digging into food. And we think that most of the time we always got to run to the doctor and get pharmaceuticals. So that's fine. But on the other hand, if we keep a healthy body, then we have better resistance.
Hmm.
And one of the things that they're saying that vitamin C is one of them, vitamin B is another one, zinc is the one to create your body to be healthy. But also Q10 keeps your muscles strong. But the most important muscle in your body is your heart,
Hmm.
and that's where most of the Q10 will go to.
Wow.
And one of the examples that they were saying that if when you get COVID, more likely you're going to get pneumonia.
Hmm.
And if you have a hard time coughing stuff up, then you need to go to the drugstore or wherever you get your mucus thinner, and you help the body to achieve to make it to get loose, so you can drain your sinuses and drain your even your nose and whatever else. But another thing that they say that every time, if it's the flu or if it's even COVID, it's a bug.
Hmm.
And a bug goes into your nose, and your body is designed. That's why your nose drains, because it gets rid of the pollutants that you're breathing in all day.
Hmm.
And if you pick up something, the mucus is there and it's slowly drained. But what happens when the bug gets into your nose, it'll break through the mucus. And as soon as it gets to your skin or to your body parts, then you start to sneeze.
Hmm.
That's part of the body's condition to get rid of diseases, get
Hmm.
rid of pollen, get rid of stuff that you're breathing in. If you're in the dust or even if you're in paint or whatever you're doing, you're breathing that into your lungs, and you don't want to keep that in your lungs because it's a foreign matter. And the body has resistance, common sense to get rid of it. So what you do when you have an itch in your nose, you take your hand sanitizer and put 2 drops in your hand,
Hmm.
take your thumb and put it into that sanitizer. It's alcohol.
Hmm.
It ain't
Yes.
gonna hurt your nose. Ain't gonna hurt you. It ain't gonna even hurt your eyes. It might burn a little bit in your eyes, but you can put every alcohol on your body. If you take and you put it in your nose and you rub that, and you find out where that bug is itching, and you want to sneeze, as soon as you hit it with the alcohol, it disappears.
It goes away. Yeah.
And if you can't get it that way, you can take a solution, you put it into a spray bottle,
Hmm.
and you put distilled water in there so you don't get something, and you add a pinch of salt to it. The
See,
salt does the same thing.
yeah, I was going to talk about that because the other day, because I imagine that certain things might be short supply, especially over
Mm-hmm.
in places like India. So, to go to a pharmacy to find something is going to be very rare, and probably not not
Oxygen,
not
even
not
now.
capable, right? Not something you can't do. So, what I was going to suggest, and I'm glad you brought it up, was the simple measure of getting some warm water, with a little salt in it.
You can put
And
it in your
just,
hand
even if you
even.
don't have a spray, using a cup, if anything, and just
Yeah.
pouring it
You sniff it
gently
in.
to let it come through to clear what's inside your nose. That goes a long way, and it helps you to breathe even better sometimes, especially because one side of my nose was blocked, and I was like, what's going on? And I just
Mhm.
poured the water in, and I realized that you know, it was just tight inside there. And I said, okay, so let me do something. And I did that, and it just freed up everything. And the desire to sneeze went away because I cleared whatever was in my nose. Even with the mask, as I shared with you, the last time we tried to do this video and it was unsuccessful because we didn't have any audio, is we tried sharing with you is that double masking even,
Mhm.
single mask isn't good enough, even and I shared that with some people is that when I used to work with some people with doing body work and sheetrock and stuff, how even with a mask on, a respirator on, you would always have the whiteness of whatever the dust that was generated
Mhm.
in your nose hair. So you knew that stuff was getting through. So sometimes it's better to even double mask to make it possible to protect yourself even more.
Well, there are
Um,
certain even things that are sold. If you get the painter's mask, that nothing comes through it, even the paint smell,
well, yeah, it was, yeah,
because it's got different filters in there.
but that might be hard supply,
Yeah,
So
it's hard to
if,
get a
even
hold of.
even finding a regular mask, wetting a towel
Hmm.
and putting it over your nose first and then the mask there, that would be helpful to you as well because that moist towel will attract everything to it,
Hmm.
and then you just throw the towel away and you put the mask, put another one there. So these are some simple tips that wouldn't cost extra money, where you wouldn't have to go out looking for these things because you will have these in your very home. So we just want to encourage you to do that. And with alcohol, it might be very hard to get alcohol. I know that for us here, it was extremely hard to get alcohol. So what you might want to do is, if many places are supplying hand sanitizer, which is almost all alcohol.
That's
you know,
70%.
yeah.
Yeah.
So even this will work if you put a dab of it in your hand, as Gene was saying, and just and smell it. It
Mhm.
will make a difference and it will be helpful. You won't have to use too much of it. So we just want to encourage you to do these simple things that are helpful. And very often we don't think about them, but the idea is to keep you healthy so that you can help someone else.
I think the main thing is a lot of times when we have groups of people and we go into stores or whatever happens, and I go into it's like Walmart now. About 50% of the employees that work there have their mask below their nose.
Yeah,
They're not filtering their nose. They're breathing out of their nose
yeah,
because it's common to breathe out of your nose.
yeah.
And even the face mask, the shield. What common sense? Where's you filtering at?
Hmm.
Because you're breathing on the side. So if
Yeah,
somebody sneezes
it's still
or
coming right
coughs
into the.
6 feet
Yeah,
away from you.
yeah.
But another thing we have to be careful is also,
All that is marketing,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it might protect your skin, especially if you're
it
doing
protects your
surgery and,
eyes.
and blood and stuff like that might be coming or some other thing like that. But you still need to wear a nose protection to protect your respiratory system. So they might want to, the face mask, as you said, the shield, it protects your skin from getting something on it, but it doesn't protect your respiratory system.
Because they were
Yeah.
saying in the beginning of COVID that you couldn't even get it on your hands and you rub your eyes, it'll go through your eyes.
Yeah.
This doesn't come through your nose and
Yeah.
through your mouth. It can even come through your pores and your eyes and get into your system.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that we can do, and a lot of it is common sense. And how, how do we stay healthy?
Mm.
That's one of the questions that Mayo Clinic is doing a study on food now.
Mm.
And there's so many, even like blood pressure, for an example. L-carnitine is something that keeps your blood pressure down. If you're eating beets, beets have got carnitine in there.
Mm.
But also, if you add L-carnitine, you also add L-cisteine. Cisteine gives you muscle more strength into your muscles, so it
Okay.
gives you more strength even
Wow.
into your heart. So you take the two of them, Your body has the capability to be able to take L-carnitine and convert it into the system that we need that brings your blood pressure down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking pills right now, and I can just look at my hands. This is normal blood pressure right now. But if I
Mm-hmm.
can't see this vein, I got high blood pressure.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So you
Okay.
can look at your arms, and you can even
Mm-hmm.
tell when you need it
Wow.
when you don't have a machine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But on the other hand, how important is it if you got high blood pressure and then you got a touch of the disease? Who's going to die first?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the elderly is going to die? The sick people are going to die because they haven't got the resistance to be able to fight the disease.
Right, right.
And even like the vitamin C and the zinc and everything that we need to be taking. And I know sometimes, like in India, it's hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, yeah.
If your drugstores are closed down because of the COVID, then it hurts
So
everybody.
you have to find natural
Yeah.
things that have these things
But
in them
even,
that will help
yeah,
you. Because, as you said, the drugs might will be hard to find. All of those things. And I know that here it was almost impossible to find these things when we were looking for them because the shelves were empty. And
one of the
in
things
terms of pharmaceuticals, but there are plenty of other stuff that you
mm,
can find. Yeah.
one thing I learned that by being on Mayo study is the fact that sure vitamin C comes in oranges, it comes in lemons, it comes in some of the fruit.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, if you eat an orange, 30 minutes to 60 minutes later, the vitamin C is gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it does not, the body does not reserve it.
Right.
On the other hand, if you have access to the fruit and you know you're around people, and vitamin C also kills the germs in your mouth and also keeps it from getting into your system. So
Hmm.
we should be eating some of the fruits and things that we need, and even like the high blood pressure. I know you can't just go to the pharmaceutical all the time and get the blood pressure medicine,
Right.
but if we would take some, especially we got media. This is one of the things I
But
want to push
this
the
is
button.
this is what I want to
You
say.
can you can Google anything you want,
That's what I was just gonna. That's why I grabbed my phone.
and Google will explain to you what L-carnitine, L-citrulline does.
Hmm.
And but this is the teaching tool that I'm trying to put into India. There's 90 villages that want a tablet. One of the things I want to present tonight is these villages. Um, I know there ain't a whole lot of money in India, but a village should be able to take and support one person, his wages, to be
Hmm.
able to have this tablet and then go home to home where he's not gathering a whole group of people so we get people sick.
Hmm.
And he's teaching like we're teaching tonight.
Yeah.
The values of life. What are we need to stay alive?
Yeah. See, so what I did here is just went to say, well, okay, what foods are high in vitamin C?
No,
I mean,
it isn't just
this has the access that you need because, again, the shelves might be empty. You might not be able to find a bottle of, of tablets or whatever, but there are fruits. I mean, this is something I didn't even know myself. Is peppers are high in vitamin C. Well, in India, you have a tremendous supply of that,
mhm,
right? So, I mean, that's great. Strawberries, black currants, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, potatoes
yeah.
are high, are high in vitamin, are good sources of vitamin C. So, I mean, it's at your fingertips. So, we want to encourage you to use the tools that are available to you, and you have to be creative in this. So, yes, we might not be able to find the vitamins on the shelf, but let's use the tools that you have over there to see exactly how we can find something to supplement what we need so that we can be healthy as so that you can be healthy as you endeavor to save lives. And this is what it's all about. It's about saving lives. It's about you being healthy as leaders so that you can help people in your community, in your town, in your village. And we want to make sure that you stay heavy. Double mask. If you have access to sanitizers, use it. If you hot water and salt, that's available to you. Flush your nose out often as much as if possible. You can even use, salt actually can work as a sanitizer too when you don't have this
Mhm,
sort of stuff.
mhm.
right? So you put the water in, the salt in water in high concentration. Wash your hands, wash your face, if that's all you have. So I mean, and I know that you will have salt, and I know you will have water, right? So boil the water if possible. Put the salt in it. Then when it cools down, use that as some form of makeshift anesthetic if you don't have something like this available. So we want to make sure that this is helpful to you. Put wet a towel or something or piece of cloth and put it inside of your mask, so that when you're breathing a little bit of moisture, but you're also are trapping the outside elements behind the mask, because sometimes the masks aren't as effective as we want them to be. So we just want to help you with this. So please, we're making an appeal to you.
Yeah, even like Jerry was saying, when he took the list and pulled it up on Google, is the fact that you have to be looking at who you are and what you are, and you should be planting your own gardens. You shouldn't be just having to go to the store and
Yeah.
pick up things and I know in India, when the monsoons come, just in one day, 36 inches of water will come. You need to reserve that water in either dams where you create electricity, so you have created factories and jobs for yourself, or even a reserve of water in America. That's what we did in the past. After World War I, we built dams in just about every state to
Wow.
reserve water. So we have hydro and we have electricity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And
Right.
we also have factories that are running, things that we are exporting. That's what made America great. And I encourage third world countries, if it's Africa, India, wherever you're listening to this voice, is that by forming co ops in a community, even a village, or if it's in a county or something, and go to the bank and borrow money to be able to make exactly what's going to happen.
Hmm.
And even in North Dakota, for an example, we had farmers, and as soon as they had electricity, then they had bought refrigerators, so there was factories put in. Then there was tractors that needed to go out in the field, that you can plant more food
Mm-hmm.
source. That's why America is the breadbasket for the world, because we have taken California, for an example, that was 30 to 40% desert, is completely producing food now
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because of the Hoover Dam.
Huh.
In North Dakota, we have one dam, the Garrison Dam. There's another one in South Dakota. There's another one in Montana. Every one of them has increased knowledge, increased job skills,
Productivity and
increased.
food
And if
supply.
you're an exporting nation, you're a rich nation. But if you're an importing nation, just to bring food in to keep you alive,
Yeah.
and I'm even hearing, and I hate to even say this, that sometimes they even use this as a population control.
Mm.
And it's sad
Mm-hmm.
that we have gotten to the place that everybody thinks that the world is overpopulated and that the sun and everything else, we have done that to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
India, for an example, it used to be pretty much all forest 1,000 years ago, or even 2,000 years ago. But slowly they burnt all that off for firewood
Wow.
to be able to cook their meals.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of taking and reserving the monsoons for all that water that comes, that they can use it for power later
Mm-hmm.
and be able to accomplish the same thing. But the trees, there's a difference. Trees take the carbon dioxide, turn it into oxygen.
That's right.
Us human beings, because we're weak, because we don't have enough oxygen, because there's not enough trees,
Mm-hmm.
and our body is slowly descending to the point where
Mm.
they're finding out, for an example, because of the melt that's happening in the world, because of the trees be disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
The North Pole, you know what they found? Dinosaurs,
Oh, they're finding
bones.
okay bones. Yeah.
At one time, there was
That it was
dinosaurs
habitable.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was the world?
Mm-hmm.
Or even, for an example, even in North Dakota, they drill a well 2 miles down to get the oil, and you know what they find?
Some.
Seashells.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the world at one time?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but on the other hand, every time we do something, we look and we see, and where's the wealth, and how do we uh, continue to keep on making that process so the wealth keeps on coming?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, because you're getting into the Eurasia and Gondwana land and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, there is shifting that's happening. So we can make a difference. I mean, what you're telling me is that there are things that we can do, but some of it, let's quite frankly, requires government intervention. So the people themselves just can't do some of this. You know,
But
but
it's
but
teaching and training. That's what we're doing right now. That's
but I
important.
think that we can practice some of this stuff on smaller scales.
Mhm.
I look at some of the things, the hydroponics that people are doing around, even locally around here, and they're growing crops on very small pieces of land, but they're growing, at multi levels, where
Yep.
there's just a little bit of water just drips in it, and it drips down, it goes down, it goes down, and
Even the fish tank on the bottom, and
yeah,
the fish are fertilizing the
yeah,
water.
it's ridiculous, but when you think about it, it's effective. So these are things that can be practiced in communities that really doesn't cost a whole bunch of money, but it supply food for your family, supply food for you. It can make a difference in your community, and it just takes a few people to research. Like we said, there's so much stuff on this that we can research and that we can pull up and learn
Mhm.
and begin to practice. So we want to encourage you to do that. We want to encourage you to stay safe. We want to encourage you to look out for yourselves, so that you will be available and around to help someone else. Uh,
I think the most important thing right now is to find that leadership that you need to be able to start teaching what we're teaching, and how do we progress? Everything that's happening in the world, wealth is created because there's people working in jobs, paying taxes, and supporting one another. That's the main key. And I believe that I want to call it a world family. And what we know of what we have learned, even just like now, they're talking about going to the moon again. And going to the moon wasn't an accomplishment because they find something that would help us. There's some there. On the other hand, the main thing was is they built the computers and all the technology that we need,
to
that
be
we
able
are
to do it.
focusing on right now, to be able to get the education that we need.
Hmm.
Just think
Hmm.
about it. 6 women saved the lives of the astronauts 13 times
Hmm.
because they were listening to the engineers in the main office. They were secretaries.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you imagine just being the secretary? You saved other people's lives,
Hmm.
and we were able to accomplish a task. We're talking about going to Mars. There's nothing wrong with going to Mars, but is there something there that can give us something that we can have wealth, or we can have maybe even fertilizers or something that we can bring back to have more increase on what we need to do here?
Well, we'll find out. Well, thank you for joining us on this a message to the nations, and we just want to thank you. We will have another episode next week. Look forward to seeing you and to speaking to you on a different topic. Lord bless you, and you all have a wonderful, safe week.
We can give some thought about what's even happening with Thomas